the level of disdain that mainstream media has for Bernie Sanders has been becoming more transparent as the days go on and as Bernie rises in the polls. You'll see this on specific channels like MSNBC, CBS, CNN. These commentators, if that's the word that you want to use for them, are becoming more obvious with the level of disdain that they have for him. Specifically, Chris Matthews of MSNBC, known for Hardball, has been taking the mask off in his criticisms of Bernie Sanders, and they've just been silly, to be honest. Now, you might remember Chris Matthews' criticism of Bernie Sanders, that he is not the type of guy who would pull over and help you if you were stranded on the side of the road or something stupid like that. Granted, he did come out later and apologize for that, but take a look at this. So this is following the 8th Democratic primary debate in New Hampshire, where Chris Matthews has some grievances that he would like to share. So let's watch the video and then discuss.
I have my own views of the word socialist, and I'll be glad to share them with you in private. And they go back to the early 1950s. I have an attitude about them. I remember the Cold War. I have an attitude towards Castro. I believe if Castro and the Reds had won the Cold War, there would have been executions in Central Park, and I might have been one of the ones getting executed. And certain other people would be there cheering, okay? So I have a problem with people who took the other side. I don't know who Bernie supports over these years. I don't know what he means by social. One week it's Denmark. We're going to be like Denmark. Okay, that's harmless. That's basically a capitalist country with a lot of good social welfare programs. Denmark is harmless.
He's pretty clearly in the Denmark category, yeah.
Are you sure? How do you know? Did he tell you that?
Well, I mean, that's what he says, and that's what his agenda calls for, right?
Yeah.
He's not calling for any...
Let's see. Let's figure that one out.
Well, we haven't seen a campaign yet where video of him praising the other version, which is Castro, has been used.
Well, but it
will be used.
That's a question
of how that plays out.
Of how what the effect that has.
Well, what does he think of Castro? That's a great question. What did you think of Fidel Ismo? We all thought he was great when he first. I thought he was cheering like mad for him when he first went in, and then he became a communist and started shooting every one of his enemies.
Okay, hold those thoughts on the Cuban Revolution. I have to go back to the spin room and Democratic presidential candidate.
There is seriously something wrong with this guy. If you watch that rant, you will see just how unhinged this guy is. And he has no clue what he's talking about. Either that, or he does have a clue what he's talking about, and he's just lying through his teeth. Now, you see him say there that Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and he doesn't know what side Bernie Sanders is on. But then he makes a reference to how Bernie references his democratic socialism as a style of the system that Denmark has. So he's fully aware that that's the system that he wants to model. And yet he somehow brings Fidel Castro into this whole thing and says that he doesn't know what Bernie thinks of Fidel Castro. This guy's just a lunatic. He's never in his campaign stated that he wants his system to be anything like Venezuela, Cuba, Russia. Never in his entire campaign has he said that. And it's always been something like the Nordic systems, something like the Scandinavian systems. Those are the only types of systems, and every other system in the modernized world. Those are the systems that he's referencing when he talks about Medicare for all. So Chris Matthews knows this because he referenced how Bernie references Denmark. He says 1 week it's Denmark, and it seemed like he was going to go into say the next week it's blank country, but he stopped there because Bernie has never referenced it as being any other type of socialist country. So just watching that clip leads me to wonder what the role of these commentators are. Because it's not to deliver news. It's not to keep you informed and up to date as to what's going on. It's to just spread their opinions that are misinformed, and to get paid millions upon millions of dollars per year. These guys are making millions upon millions of dollars per year. You want to know why they keep spreading these lies about Bernie Sanders? It's because their taxes are going to go up. That's the only reason. Because their taxes are going to get raised, and they don't want that. They like the status quo where they could just go on primetime television, spread their lies, and cash in their paycheck. Well, Bernie Sanders is president. That ain't going to happen any longer.